In the process of spiritual ascension, the human being initially starts from the idea that he is a limited being, separated from God, feeling devoid of God. Like an empty vessel that needs to be filled and begins with a certain aspiration and effort to go ascending. Little by little, the empty vessel of his being is filled with divinity through divine grace that overflows. At this stage, we perceive ourselves as human beings having spiritual experiences, but the ascension is done slowly and with great effort. Experiencing a certain inner growth, the human being gives up its limited belief that it is separated from God and adopts a new inner paradigm. For the idea of separation from God causes it far too much suffering. Thus, the being begins to accept, and then even live the fact that it is part of God, not to mention itself completely separated from Him. Here begins a new important stage, for in the process of its ascension the being no longer starts from a limited state of inner emptiness, but from the fullness given by its very living conviction that it is part of God, which allows God to descend even further into being, filling it up with God. The focus now is on the activation state of the goddess within her and her latent potentialities, by shedding those codes keys of activating the latent potentialities of being. Awakening and ascension is now much faster. This is the stage at which you feel like a spiritual being, experiencing a human existence. Growth will occur somewhat rapidly to a certain level, resulting in an ever greater grip on self, on the divinity within us, on that divine presence I am. But focusing exclusively on oneself will, at some point, can cause the ascension to become very slow, requiring a greater opening of the heart and a growth in love where others are included. The being begins feeling the need to give as much of the fullness as possible to whomever is open to it. Once producing this comprehension of all in the heart of being, grace will overflow again with power. The being is now ascending together with all in which all is contained. She is sharing all with all, in an outburst of total giving of the heart, and all that it receives to be useful to others as well. Here begins the growth to a higher level, that of co-creator, in which the being ascends to God with everything and everyone, and this in no way slows down his ascension, but on the contrary accelerates it, the grace that overflows now being much greater and all-encompassing. It reaches a new level, where the being invokes with even more power and burns divine grace, for now her heart burns completely after complete union with God. The being is at this point tested to see if it desires anything more horizontally on a human level. And if its aspiration is strictly ascending, the being begins aspiring wholly towards full unification with God. The Heavenly Father, Infinite Source, will begin to reveal to him new levels of godliness, higher and higher, unsuspecting until then, and paradoxically, God will appear to retreat somewhere higher, further away from the being, which until then, considered to be near the end. This being believed she was removed from God, but that is done only to call her higher in light. New divine plans and experiences are now revealed as the ascension is made, and at the same time there is an ineffable process of filling the being with the light of God. This is the Father Source himself appearing to place himself in the heart of being. More and more the being is filled with the light of God. Feeling as though he was abandoned and separate from God, gradually brings him back to unify with the God Source. But this process of unification will not take place fully until the being loves God with all its heart. For only then will full identification take place, and the being perceives itself as part of the infinite Source. He will then remember who he is and where he came from. He will remember that he is a part of the infinite God that he once left to experience in manifestation, and is now just coming home, becoming what it was when he left. God of God, still finding everything in God as only God. And all this road is paved with so much love, so much bliss, so much protective care, and so much grace that, as Rumi also said, it is possible not to say, I am in love with all my being with God. And everything, Absolutely everything is embraced in the divine heart full of infinite love of the primordial creator. Ashtar, watching over and supporting this whole process of growth, blossoming, elevation and rediscovery without ceasing. Original title, Divine Revelations 5D to 12D, Stairs of Ascension in the Heart of God, received through Facebook by Uma Kumari. Translated by UniversalLighthouse.com. Thank you for watching Universal Lighthouse Galactic Messages and Spiritual Teachings. Please use your own personal discernment on all content posted. If you enjoyed the different authors that are shared, please subscribe to their content as well. You can visit our blog page at universallighthouse.com and subscribe to receive daily posts via your email. And while you are there, tune in to Universal Lighthouse Radio, broadcasting 24/7 for your vibrational needs. Again, that's universallighthouse.com.